All right. Here you go.
Cool.
Fuck. I wrote all the questions down, but it's okay. I'll remember them.
Do you clip it on or you just hold it?
Well, you can hold it. It's like a lapel mic, but you can flip it on if you don't want to hold it.
All right.
But like this right here should be good.
Okay.
Welcome back to the podcast. Everyone's favorite podcast. What is this podcast even called? Does it have a name? Nope. That's the whole name of the podcast. I am Alexis, your host, and today we have Ryan Cox.
Hey.
Hello.
What episode is this? What number are we on?
You will be number 4.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Getting the backlogs right now.
The top 5.
Yeah. Top 5, it is, I'm putting whoever I respect the most first, and then everyone else, you'll just get in line. That's how I'm doing the podcast.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. No, that's how everyone thinks it is, but it's random. It's just whoever says that they can do it, and I have my stuff with me. Which if you can hear the cars, don't comment. No one cares.
Yeah.
This is a podcast. Why are you even listening to this? Okay. So I actually only had you on, Ryan, because I don't have a dad and you're a dad, so I just wanted some dad advice that I never got.
And I could be your dad. I think we figured that out recently. It's like, wow, it's like a new thing in my life. Where I have friends who
you have friends who are in a different reality,
just a little bit younger.
That's fun.
I'm very proud of you. I think this you're figuring out the microphones and everything.
Wow, already off to a good start. Never got that from my dad. So one of the questions I thought of was how do you, because I feel like I talk a lot about my personal life, and you do some of that in your comedy. How do you is there a line where you're okay, I won't talk about this, about my kids or whatever, just to respect their stuff? Or is it it's my life too? I won't, is there no line for you? Is there a line? Do you think about the line? That's the question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I try to keep in mind that some of the jokes I do, I wouldn't want my kids to hear now because they're young.
Yeah.
But when they're grown up, it'd be okay if they heard them.
Right.
And I don't have a lot of jokes about my wife, but I would want it to be if she was there, she wouldn't be what the fuck are you going out and saying every week? You know? So sometimes I'll run things by her if I feel like it's on the line, and it's not really been an issue. But
you're not an edgy.
I don't.
I wouldn't say you're edgy comedy.
Yeah.
I love your comedy. I think it's hilarious. You definitely make me try to see from my dad's perspective. I don't know, because I don't think about that perspective a lot. Dad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. It's there's not a lot of dad comics. I hate being introduced as a dad, just so you know.
Right.
Everyone that introduces me, James tonight, will look over at me and he'll have a blank expression. They'll be like, he's a dad.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, man.
But I
can feel the audience go, ugh.
Right. No, I like that, though, because, you are a dad, but you're so, that's not, you have so much to say other than, about your kids or about, you're very interesting. That's not the only thing about you that
well, thank you.
I think when I think Ryan Cox.
Yeah, I try not to only talk about it, but it is kind of I try to talk about the things that I feel have the most feelings about. It's so crazy.
Right.
Kids are young and they're just worried and happy, so it's it ends up being a lot of the material. But yeah, I don't want to just be that.
Right.
I talk about it's just a few things, and kids are I have 4 or 5 things I talk about, and when I try to branch out, a lot of times I just don't get good jokes. For some reason, the kid jokes work better.
I feel like it is kind of the best comedy comes from you trying to be as authentic as possible.
For sure, yeah.
And especially because I do you know Christina Pajitsky? Do you know who that is? She's Tom Segura's wife.
Yeah.
So she
Christina
has I just try to say her name because I'm
that's
brave.
great. Yeah.
Or I guess I don't care if I mess it up, but I was really anti-kids for my whole life up until basically last year, maybe this year. And
until you heard my stand-up and you were like, all right.
Right. I was like, these kids aren't too bad. These kids say funny shit. But I watch her podcast, and I feel just seeing that perspective of because she always she talks about not the bad side of parenting, but she talks about the shit that's like sucks, and it's like you could talk about it, and it's not like you're saying, "Oh, I hate my kids." It's just like, this is hard. This is what day-to-day life is, or whatever. So I feel like I get that same vibe. Like, I like your perspective, because it's not like you're like shit talking your kids or anything, but it's just like seeing that perspective of like, I think you're a great dad from my like impression, and so like seeing that like even great people, great parents will have frustrations, or like, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's exactly what I hope it is that it's like, well, I'm still a person and it's hard.
Yeah.
So at home, it's like I have to try to keep it under control, but then there's this other side. You can like come out to a place like this.
Right.
After I just like read to him and put him to sleep like 30 minutes ago, and just say a bunch of like horrible shit into a microphone. I think as a general rule, like when I'm starting new ideas, like it can maybe not worry so much about it being like a horrible thing that might be something they shouldn't hear. But then like if it sticks around for weeks and months and it like goes in the act, then it's like, all right, it needs to be like represent me. But when you're trying new stuff, I think it's okay to say bad shit.
Right.
Like I don't like it when people get in trouble for really saying anything that's new, because it's like,
exactly,
stream of conscious.
I think that like obviously if it's like a joke that you've repeated and it's like not landing and it's not good and it's just shocking, like that's a different thing. But if you're trying something out and you want to test like what happens when you say this out loud, that's like what being a comedian is, you know?
Yeah, it's the best.
It is the best, because it's just like, wait, no, can I make this crazy idea? Like, can I convince everyone, or whatever the joke is? That's like my favorite part, when I like hear something and I'm like immediately like, I hate that, and then the person gets me to laugh.
Yeah,
that's like one of my favorite parts of like watching people that like, maybe I don't love their comedy, but like I watch it even though I might not enjoy it sometimes, just to see like I guess they're trying to do that, because everyone's trying to do that. Hopefully, that's what you hope down deep in your heart, that everyone's just trying to do that.
Trying to like your comedy, or trying to
like say the funniest thing, or say like trying to figure out what the funny is.
Yeah.
Like, because it is. I think some people come at it from that. I think some of it, people just like hearing themselves talk. There's a lot of people that do comedy. You know what I mean?
But my least favorite is like when you're trying to convince people you're smarter than them.
Right.
That's the only one that really gets me.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like an Anthony Jeselnik type, like, or just like saying offensive things just because like you're trying to figure out how to say it in a way that it's okay or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, but that's just mental. Like, play a puzzle game. You know, play a mental puzzle game instead of doing comedy. Like, I don't like the pretentious comedy. That's definitely like something that I'm like, all right, guy.
Yeah.
Is this a TED Talk?
Yeah, totally. That's like probably the main thing I try not to do, is like try to sound like I think I'm real smart.
Right. This is another thing I wrote down. So like, we are in Asheville, North Carolina. White men are running and hiding. But I feel like you almost have like this immunity about you, because I never get the vibe of a white man from you.
Oh,
like,
that's nice.
I feel like no one ever comes for you as like a, oh, you said that, you're a white man. Like, never heard anything like that. I've also watched a bunch of your sets. You don't do stuff that would get people to say that. But I just wanted to know your perspective on the whole white man thing, since like I never get that vibe from you, and you are a white man.
Yeah. So you don't have like a thread with you and all the other 20-something comics where you're like trying to cancel me. You never know. I'm always
right.
I mean, I think like just being like my age, I'm 43 too, so it's like I grew up like in Tennessee hearing people just say all kinds of shit that like you should never say anymore, or then really. But, so it's like, I guess being a white man's part of it, but also generational. I'm always kind of like wondering, how it might land, for someone like 20 years younger than me. I don't know, like the white man thing. I think, I don't know. It's like I think I'm like the least qualified probably to like make any statement on that. Like
See, this is what I mean. You're doing perfect right now. This is exactly the answer everyone wanted.
Yeah.
You fucking got him you got it, Ryan. You're doing great. But I think it is like, because I mean, a lot of comics are male. A lot of comics are white males.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but that doesn't mean that they're all bad. You know what I mean? And I don't like when women are just like all men are bad. They all suck. And I get that maybe you can feel like that. It's okay for you to feel like that, but it's not true. And to treat people that, you know, just because, I mean, based on the color of their skin, you know what I mean? It's like, it's the same thing, but it's just like, it's, you can't even say that, because then it's like oppression and all of the history of white oppression or whatever. And I get it, but it is like, I feel like you should just do it on individual basis, you know?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, this is actually a
a
racial podcast.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm just like, I like being recorded. I'm like, this topic. I will say, like, I don't like being on shows where it's all just a bunch of dudes that look like me. I'm always like, fuck, this is not. No one wants that. Even an audience of like white men don't want to just see.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that means that there's room for, you know, all of the spices, even the ones that aren't spicy at all. You know.
Yeah. The spices that aren't spicy.
Yeah, white men and women. You know.
Yeah.
Inclusivity.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just feel like
I do think about it. Like, I'm aware of it, but I don't know if I have any real conclusions about it. I mean, I do sometimes feel uneasy about it, but I really just enjoy doing mics and writing jokes. So you know.
Hell yeah.
I'm like so privileged I don't really have to worry about it, I guess.
Right.
You know?
No, yeah, exactly. And I think that like this is not a podcast about conclusions. This is just an open, just talking, you know, open-end conversation about white people, you know. I'm trying to think of the other questions. I wrote them all in my notes, and I'm trying to remember them. Hey, what's up? Do you want to make a guest appearance on the podcast? We're talking about white men in comedy. Oh. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what we're talking about.
Sounds targeted. Oh no, I didn't know what y'all were doing. I honestly just thought that was your bag sitting here.
It's not my bag. Or that is my bag.
Yeah. I was wondering why you were sitting off on one thing by yourself. I was like,
just hanging out.
Now I realized it was a podcast.
No worries. I'm leaving this in. Do you want to plug anything to the camera?
No.
Okay. Jason Webb, everyone. He was giving me time to think of the next question, and I still didn't do it.
He's wearing that outside mask. He's just showing off his California progressive comedy scene experience.
That's right. Mask up. And death to all white men. Yeah. This podcast knows the right the right things to say. Oh, okay. I think I remembered. Well, so we were gonna do this like after we went up at first, but we were doing it before. Yeah. But one of the questions was like, so I'm reading this book about creative living, and it's really good. I like it. It's like about how ideas like aren't really like they're alien, and they like move through humans to like be expressed, and that's what they want is to be expressed. And it's talking about like getting fulfillment not from people's reactions, but from doing the art itself. And so I feel like, because I've bombed, I've done really well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like the feeling afterwards can be almost the same in a way. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, do you feel like having an awesome set and bombing, like you're not necessarily like happier. Yeah. After a really good set.
Right.
Where they approve of what you said.
Right. Yeah. Or just like they both feel like some sort of like adrenaline towards the next.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense with the thing I said about the book?
Yeah, I think so. With the ideas just kind of moving through you.
Because it was just like, because I felt bad after bombing, but I think having a different perspective on it and just being like, okay, well maybe the feeling after a bomb is just you like knowing you could have done something different, and that's still productive.
There's like momentum to that. There's like a path forward. You're like, well, now I have more data about what I'm trying to say, so I can use that to like improve. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think like taking risks and bombing can feel really good because I feel like I played it really safe for my first few years, and like I wrote everything out and I'd find something that worked and I keep doing it. So I've been trying to do mics, like only do new stuff, so it works a lot less than like it's like, oh, I could probably get them to like me more and do better if I did like my tried and true jokes.
Right.
But having like taken that risk makes me feel good because it's a lot scarier for me.
Right.
So it feels more like, hero's journey kind of points
Yeah.
for the night. So I think I'm kind of like more interested in that. But it is nice to figure out like when you get a joke that like hits and it keeps working and you've like cracked that and you can get that approval or whatever it is, just like make other people have a really good time and all those. It's like a narcissism to it, but also like everybody's having fun. And everybody's like on the same page. Like, I mean, that does feel really good.
Yeah. It's just like you can't get too caught up in how good it feels, I guess, is what I'm trying to like.
Yeah, like, when I felt that way, that's when I started to lean on old material more because I'm like, I'm nervous. I want to like impress the people here. There's like somebody here that does whatever this bookings. I want to like have a good set and I'll do like my old shit. But then it's like I didn't grow. Right. And then I kind of feel like,
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of comedy and like self growth can like correlate. Like I think the more you're like reflecting on what's going on in here, the better the stuff will come out. Or at least that's what I found. I've been journaling.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very helpful for not just comedians, but just anyone that's like tormented with thoughts all day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice too because I like record music and put out albums, but it can be so solitary to like you just do it in your room and then you put it on the internet and people, like it's all through like the internet. So just being in a room with people, like it's like never felt as good as it feels now because they're so lacking in like all other aspects of life. Right. So
I definitely am not I love that the internet exists, but it's also like I think that it's caused way more problems than it solved. Like specifically for me, but also in general, like as a general blanket statement for the internet.
Yeah.
So it's a rough one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think those were all the questions. Did you have anything you wanted to plug? This is a podcast. This is about getting to know Ryan Cox.
Let's see.
You do music?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you can. I use my middle name, Ryan Barrington Cox. I got a bunch of albums. Just Google that, and it's lots of music.
Hell yeah!
I think I'm featuring at Pulp sometime in the middle of the month. In a few Thursdays. Yeah, February.
Nice. So, I'll put the ticket link, and I'll put the date somewhere on the screen right now.
Cool. Yeah.
That's what this is for. It's getting to know. You feel like you know Ryan, like him on Instagram, follow and subscribe, and comment your favorite dad advice. What advice did your dad give you, or what advice did you never get that you wanted?
And how do you feel about white men?
Yeah, and how do you feel about white men? All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great
job.
Fun.
Yeah.